And the top story in the U.S. tonight is the devastating evidence that Donald Trump supported the armed overthrow of the U.S. government. The incriminating eyewitness testimony, which riveted Congress and the nation, is opening up new lanes in the insurrection probes today. It builds the criminal evidence against Trump aides and the former president himself after years of shockwaves and meltdowns and all kinds of public discussions. We got to tell you off the top that the new evidence is still drawing reactions like this. Stunning and shocking details, with many speechless at the portrait of a truly unhinged president. The Washington Post reporting that Trump has had bad moments, but few worse than Hutchinson's testimony. And necessarily, there are many places we could begin tonight, but we start with the words from one of Trump's top aides and longtime defenders, a former chief of staff who did not request a pardon. I'm talking about Mick Mulvaney. He's one of the many government and legal veterans saying that the new evidence does change things because it links Trump to the armed violence in advance. Mulvaney, very simply in plain language, lays out how, first, and I want to show you this in two parts. First, how in many other debates over Donald Trump, his old boss, including debates over Trump's very bombastic and at times downright violent speeches, Mulvaney has previously defended his former boss.
I've seen him accused of trying to foment violence with no violence at all coming as a result. So I've been defending him.
I've been defending him. But his mind has changed. The defense ends now, he says in public, because of this new evidence that Trump knew the marchers were armed and Trump pushed them on anyway, Mulvaney explains.
But after yesterday, when she testified that he knew that there were guns on property and that he still encouraged people to go down to the Capitol, that certainly changes my mind.
That changes his mind. Now, he is not the ultimate arbiter in all this. I will get to that. But it is striking because Mulvaney held the same chief of staff post as Mark Meadows, who's now under investigation. His condemnation is striking then for many reasons, and his mind was changed specifically by testimony, which is a type of evidence in a world of facts. So yes, many people around Trump don't care about the facts, and they want you to think the facts don't matter. And some of them will operate like that their whole public lives. Some of them will risk going to jail for that. Some of them have gone to jail for that. But I want you to understand tonight, Mr. Mulvaney, like actually a lot of people right now today after all this, is citing the facts, the evidentiary weight of it, the testimony of someone who served his same post, an aide to the chief of staff.
I don't know. Things might get real bad. Cassidy, keep in touch with me. We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen.
You know, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away.
Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And now, today, as this all roils the nation, other conservatives are also some joining the same breaking point. Cracks, for example, in the normally united defense of Trump in right-wing commentary and media last night and today. So top hosts at Fox News, some of them are still trying to dismiss all of the testimony. But there are also some pretty clear and unusual signs of a partial split within the Murdoch media empire. One legal expert on Fox telling the audience there the new testimony was worse than America thought. The top newspaper in Fox's parent company, the Wall Street Journal, has a new editorial on behalf of the paper, which does criticize the committee. I always want you to have the full facts. They do take shots at what they see as a partisan committee, but then they note the, quote, accumulating evidence of Trump's conduct. They note it's based on firsthand account, and Republicans must face the considerable evidence about Trump's behavior that would surely be relevant to voters if he runs. And the split has continued on Fox's air, where the political anchors are still defending Trump amidst the evidence, but other legal guests have broken ranks.
Anyway, they said this was a game changer. Wrong again. What you heard there is an incredibly bizarre hearsay allegation.
If you had a different perspective being presented here, I don't think that would be very helpful to President Trump, per se, because the evidence pretty clearly shows his unfitness. It even suggests that he may be guilty of a crime.
Unfitness, may be guilty of a crime. Another word is devastating. Now, the last voice you saw there is the conservative former prosecutor Andrew McCarthy. He's a Fox favorite who wrote a whole book defending Trump and attacking the Mueller probe as the real ball of collusion during the Trump era. That's his book. I want you to see that. I want you to see where he's coming from and the positions he's taken on other legal issues. And people can debate what the Mueller probe ultimately found as a factual matter. But McCarthy is about as hardcore a conservative lawyer as you can get. That may be why he's on Fox so much. And he is out here now saying, as a factual matter and a legal matter and a matter of criminal exposure for Donald Trump, this new testimony is, quote, devastating because it implicates Trump directly. As a legal matter, it is also devastating to knowingly welcome and encourage armed supporters.
And he felt the mags were at fault for not letting everybody in. He wanted it full, and he was angry that we weren't letting people through the mags with weapons. But when we were in the offstage announce tent, I was part of a conversation. I was in the vicinity of a conversation where I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here. Let the people in. Take the effing mags away.
Take the metal detectors away. Legal experts weighing in, describing that as an illegal order by the commander-in-chief on a day of a national security meltdown where he also was derelict in duty. There's no evidence the Secret Service followed that illegal order or that they began to let in armed people, even if Trump said he didn't effing care that they had weapons. But let me tell you tonight, as this all sinks in, you know who cared? The Secret Service agents who risked their life. They did care. The police who were savagely attacked by those same armed Trump supporters, they did care. And you know what else cares in America still? The law cares. And the law is determined independently. So while as a matter of journalism in a story that does touch on politics, we just reported on what some Trump aides like Hutchinson and Mulvaney and a fleet of outraged Trump lawyers said and saw and thought after they each reached their breaking point. Some people reached it before November, in December, in January, after January 6th. But remember, all of that is skewed politically because it will not be them, although it's interesting that some of them are done with Trump. It will be independent prosecutors who decide any further charges related to this armed insurrection, to the violence, to the attempt to overthrow democracy, to the Secret Service agents, to the police, to everyone impacted. And it will be under independent law and an independent Justice Department that will decide whether there are more indictments merited, including of the former president himself.